Hey, welcome back to Theo's Coffee Break podcast, where the coffee is warm and where you are always welcome at my coffee table. So for today, I have something really exciting to talk about today. For the next 10 weeks, we are going to talk about how to transform your life with the help of my friends of the digital world. That's right, we're going to be talking about Digimon. But not the Digimon specifically, we're going to be talking about the crests. And so for today's crest, we're going to talk about courage and our friend Tai and Agumon. I would encourage you to join this 10-week series because there's a lot here that I think is really relevant to what is happening in our world today. And rewatching Digimon, I am realizing that this could have been a sign of the times, that the digital world would eventually find a way to integrate itself into our reality. And whether or not we might believe or what we may think, in some way it has taken over and is destroying humanity itself. And how it is doing that is by breaking the connection, causing a lot of distrust, giving us reasons to figure it out on our own. I mean, AI itself has made things way more efficient. So in the phrase of work smarter, not harder, why not use AI? But what is the sacrifice that we are making? And I believe that is happening from the inside and showing on the outside. So today we're going to talk about courage and with the help of with our friends from the digital world. So if you are ready to transform your life, if you are ready to become the best version of yourself that is going to be able to handle what's next for humanity, I would encourage you to join today's episode. All right, I'll see you there for the conversation. But if you're here with me now, stick around. This one's going to take a lot of courage. And, oh yeah, and then in the title, there'll be some courage in it. So, see you there. All right, turning my light off, turning my phone off. Oh man, yeah. So this is going to be one of those conversations where my goal here is to help shed some light on what courage is and what courage isn't. So let's get started by introducing you to Digimon. If you are not familiar with this series, it was a early 2000s, I believe, series where we followed our friends, Tai, Mimi, Sora, Izzy, Matt, Joe, Kari, and Matt's little brother. I forgot his name. I think his name was Takato. Should have wrote their names down. But yeah, so how it starts off is that they weren't really friends. They all went to the same school. I think Mimi was a foreign exchange student, and this is based in Japan. And they were all at summer camp together until one day, I believe that they got in a fight or they got separated from the group, and they were transported from our world to the digital world. And we follow them on their journey to figure out why did that happen, because they weren't told why they were brought there. And all of these digital monsters that claim to be their partners started popping up out of nowhere, and it terrified these kids. And these digital partners of theirs were trying to tell them that they were there to save the world, because the digital world and the earthly world was experiencing a collapse of some kind because of a virus. And they didn't believe it. I mean, who would believe that? And for a long time, these kids like Joe were really struggling with accepting that what was happening wasn't a dream or a hallucination, that he must be experiencing some kind of psychosis of some kind. Because how could this possibly be real? How could be what's happening in his world, in his reality, in his life? How could this be real? Because it doesn't seem real. And these kids were thrown right into violence. These kids were forced to grow up and take on the weight of the world onto their shoulders. And it scared them. It scared them. And so I'm going to kind of cut to the chase here to tell you why they were brought there, because it's not going to give too much of the storyline away. I would really encourage everyone to check out Digimon. And if you watched it before, rewatching it now with what's happening in our world, it is scarily accurate. And I believe is going to be a very important solution in the choices. Well, a very important solution of, oh my God, I can't say this. A very important solution and part of the decision making and how we choose to move forward as individuals and in evolving in community, because community is going to look a lot different moving forward. And I think that we are already seeing a lot of signs of the times that there is a transformation happening and that the world that we knew before has completely collapsed and is being destroyed right in front of our eyes. And this isn't meant to scare you, but this is meant to give you a heads up. We are going to be in for a really rude awakening that the future is not what we think it's going to be. So, anyways, that's why courage is going to be our first topic. So each one of these kids is called a chosen one because the digital world recognized each one of these individuals to possess the truest form, the truest, purest form of each of these crests. And in order for them to earn their crest, they have to perform a true act of what that crest is. And so I'm not going to give away any names right now. I already told you the first one. Courage is Tai's. Tai and Agumon, that is courage. I'm going to tell you what the rest of the crests are so you have an idea of what the upcoming episodes are going to look and sound like. So next week's episode is going to be about knowledge. Following that is going to be love, then friendship, sincerity, reliability, hope, light, kindness, and then there is a 10th crest. But I'm not going to tell you what that one is because this one's not in the series. But this was one that showed up in a dream that I had earlier in 2025, and I didn't want to believe that what was coming was actually going to happen. But now that we're in the thick of it and it's really real, I am being forced to come to terms with that. The dreams that I've been having, the visions I've been having, and the messages I have been receiving are really meant to be shared to help to help us transition together as a collective consciousness so that it's not going to be as rough as it really is going to be. And I'm not trying to scare anyone here, but it's going to get a lot worse before it possibly gets better. And this is important. So courage, knowledge, love, friendship, sincerity, reliability, hope, light, kindness, and a mysterious 10th crest that I will talk about here on the 10th week to complete the transformation before we go into the ending of hopefully this cycle. Hopefully. So, anyways. Courage. Man, oh man, oh man. We talk about this quite a lot. This isn't a newfound concept. So okay. Let me introduce you to Tai and Agumon and how they accomplished the courage. To which I think I need to talk about what happened after before I can get into the why, the what, and all that. Shortly after Agumon and Tai achieve the Crest of Courage, allowing Agumon to digivolve into Greymon, they come across a new enemy in a coliseum. And Tai knew that if Agumon could have the courage to digivolve into Greymon, that they were going to be able to defeat this enemy. But Agumon was scared. And Agumon knew that something was wrong. And it wasn't just what was happening. He could sense something within Tai that was wrong. Something was wrong with Tai. And sorry. Stick with me, sorry. This was actually really man. This episode was really hard to watch. Because it's happening right now in our world. Okay. Anyways. Tai's concern was very valid and very real. But what Agumon was sensing was that Tai was making a decision, a forced decision, out of fear. Because his goal here to defeat the enemy was to dominate the enemy with sheer force and willpower. I get it. When you are backed into a corner and you know that you go into a fight or flight mode, and you don't have the option to take flight, that you have to fight, the easiest option would be dominance. To exercise sheer force and strength to destroy the enemy in front of you. And so that's what happened. Tai forced Agumon to digivolve. But this time, Agumon didn't digivolve into Greymon. He digivolved into something much worse. A virus-type Digimon, Skull Greymon. And it was terrifying. Because, yes, Tai did achieve the outcome he was looking for here. He did defeat the enemy. Didn't just defeat the enemy, obliterated the enemy. But now he lost his friend. And the cost and the sacrifice. Tai learned a very hard lesson. It wasn't worth it. Because Skull Greymon went on to destroy everything and anything that was around him. And Skull Greymon didn't have a mind of its own. Its purpose is to destroy, to dominate, to exercise a kind of strength that isn't arrogance, but blind rage. So not only did he destroy everything and anything around him, he actually did end up hurting their friends. And not only hurt them, physically hurt them, but scared them. So it took them to come together to destroy Skullgreymon. To which Tai didn't want that to happen because he could still see his friend Agumon inside of that thing. And Tai knew that he had to destroy his friend in order to protect everyone around him. Because the damage that was being done was irreparable. The virus Digimon, when it destroys something, it's gone for good. It doesn't come back. And so, out of that, a blessing happened. Where his friend was reborn as an egg. A Digi-egg. And for a long time after that, Tai had to nurture that egg, take care of that egg, and hope that his friend would come back reborn. All of this to say, this is not courage. It wasn't courage for Tai to come to terms with the fact that he had to destroy Skullgreymon, his friend. It wasn't courage for him to have acceptance, to realize what he had done. That wasn't courage. That was the consequence for a decision that he put into action that was made out of bad judgment. Because he had to not only face reality, he had to handle it and figure it out. Where courage comes into play is that when his friend is reborn, Tai had to find courage to show up different. And prove to his friends and prove to his partner that he has the strength and the courage to try again. And a part of that courage was him learning to forgive what happened. And this happens way later. I still encourage everyone to watch Digimon. I do, because this is what's going to happen. Where we are going to have courage as a people to face reality and understand that in the ways that we are going to choose to rebuild our lives, it's going to take courage. So I want to say that how you make a decision out of courage isn't being too focused on the outcome, but detaching from it. It's taking into consideration what is in front of you and what is happening. It's understanding that it's understanding that there are things you cannot control. Especially people. You cannot control other people, okay? That's part of one of the gifts of being human, is having free will. So you got to start with yourself. And I said this in an episode before you can get honest with anyone or anything around you, you have to be honest with yourself. And I understand facing those inner demons, facing your past, facing the consequences of actions that you made. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody. I don't want to do that. In all of these episodes, it has taken a tremendous amount of courage for me to be this transparent and for me to be this honest. Because I'm trying to wake people up to the reality that this isn't going away. It's not. It's not going to go away. It's not going to resolve itself because a part of the solution is you. You and me working together. Okay? But also working on ourselves. This isn't something to dominate. This is not a contest. I'm, like playing a game. When we play games like Monopoly or Scrabble or Phase 10 or whatever, the point of it is to have fun together, all right? Yeah, there's going to be a winner. Yeah, there's going to be a loser. But if your sole focus in playing that game is to win, you've already lost focus in the point of playing that game because nobody's going to want to play with you again. Like rivalry, if it's healthy competition, that's one thing, but if your sole focus in life is to win at all costs, that's not courage. And that's not fun. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for anyone else. It's fun to win, but who are you going to celebrate with? Right? We gotta remember the importance that the important part of courage is hoping that on the other side there will be joy. There will be joy to share with others. And also, I don't know if anyone forgot here, but there's room for everybody to win. All right? We don't have to take turns. We don't have to I don't know. We don't have to harp on each other, but I'm just hearing like there's room for everybody to win here. And right now, I'm not alone in this feeling. The majority feels like we are losing. And that is coming from a place of grief, losing a sense in our humanity, losing trust in each other, not knowing who to trust. Everyone's on edge. We feel like the enemy is everywhere around us. But now it's turning into a fear of what tomorrow is going to bring on the news or in our own worlds. And so unfortunately, there is no cheat code. There is no hack. And there is no way around this but through. And in order to get through, we gotta have courage. And we have to detach from the idea that this is a winning or losing situation, because if that's how you approach this, not only are you going to lose, but everyone is going to lose. And if you also approach it from that perspective or that way, that's how you want to go about things, you're going to lose everyone around you. And nobody's going to want to play with you anymore. Because chances are, there is not going to be anything left. So, thank you for listening to today's episode about courage and the first crest. I encourage you to come back next week when we talk about knowledge and the importance of knowing things like this. Friendly reminder, a free way to help is to rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. All ratings are welcome. This is a transformation journey right now. And my goal here is to share the wealth in the lessons that I'm learning right now. And again, for the next 10 weeks, we will be having the help of our Digi friends from Digimon. So until next time, take care, be kind, and know that I believe that you have the courage to face what tomorrow will bring. And if you ever need a safe place to come to, know that our coffee table is always open to you. See you in the next episode.